Good
All
evening.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Talk Real Life with Nader Manning, the greatest late night talk show on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I greet
Amen.
you with the pleasantries of how to listen to the show. By the way, I know you're seeing something a little different here. You're seeing another person, and we'll explain that in just a moment. But you can also listen to us online, www.awesomeradio.org, and you can find us on a Roku TV, probably through the platform of GPAT 23 local access channel. Anywhere in the world now, we're on the smart television. Now, if you want to be bossy a little bit, and you can drop us through the Apple product called Alexa, you can, you know, say Alexa, play Awesome Radio. Go ahead and try that. Maybe your Alexa heard me. Maybe they don't recognize my voice, but for the good of it all, before I introduce the host of the show, I'd like to invite you to call into the studio. I believe I'm that much of an engineer at this moment, and I'll be able to get you on. Call into the studio at 252 756 2008, ladies and gentlemen. You can call in and get in the conversation. Sure enough. Well, I'd like to introduce the host of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. The Honorable Nita Manning is in the building. What's going on, young lady? How are you this evening?
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Glad that you decided to join us this evening. I'd like for you to relax and have some tea or coffee or cocoa, whatever your pleasure. Enjoy the show this evening. Welcome to the Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM. We are live on the air. I'm your host, Nada Manning, on Let's Talk Real Life Show. As it was stated, call in at 252-756-2008 with your comments or questions, responses. And I also want to mention to you, as I mentioned last week, I submitted a survey that I would like for you all to respond to. And I have recently learned since last week that you can use Messenger to send me your questions or your comments. And I will get them and respond to you as quick as possible. And I was glad to hear that. So surveys can be sent to me directly through Messenger, and I will see it. I don't have to befriend you to do it. You can just do it, and I'll respond back to you, and you respond back to me, and we'll take it from there. So I don't want to miss the opportunity. Now, the survey questions were simple. And what we want you to do was just rate the show. Rate the show as being poor, fair, good, or excellent. And there were three questions. What do you think about the Let's Talk Real Life show? Is it helpful? What subjects would you like me to talk about pertaining to real life? And the last question is, what would you like to see or hear differently? My comment on that was, I would like to hear more interaction from you all out there. Like we are sitting face to face in my living room or in your living room or in some target audience area, and let's talk. That would make it a lot more pleasant for everyone. I can't think of everything to talk about, but I rely on you all. So if you would do that, that would be a great help as we talk about real life issues. And moving forward, last week we were kind of interrupted a little bit with some questions and concerns, and I just wanted to revisit that just for a little bit, maybe a couple of minutes before I go into what the topic is for today. Last week, we were getting ready to talk about bushes, which BUSHES, which could be trials. It could be thorns and thistles that we face in real life. So I want to give you an example, my personal example.
Miss Naga, because you went through it. First of all, hey guys, I'm Coach Garrison. I apologize. I didn't even say my name, Coach Garrison, and I wanted to hang out with Miss Nada a little bit, and she about to get into the subject, and I'm like, let me just get into the feel of things at the moment. Wow, it is a pleasure to be on with you. I look forward to doing some one-on-ones and discussing some of your topics with you. So did I hear you correctly when you said bushes?
Bushes,
Bushes like trees in the yard, hedges.
hedges.
Okay.
We were going to start that last week, but I didn't get into it because we ran out of time.
Right, because I was trying to figure out what kind of bush you were talking about. I didn't
Right.
know. Yeah, well, excellent. Hey, I'm ready to hear some things tonight and engage in conversation about your subjects. I'm
Yes.
ready.
Yes.
Um, hey, let's go.
Bushes,
Okay.
bushes can be, like I said, that was just a metaphor for some of the trials that we face in life. And I was going to give an example of flowers because the flowers are in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Flowers is part of the growth that's out on the outside, like bushes grow. They
Right.
bloom. And so, with my own personal experience, flowers, I have them in a pot. Okay. Bushes, of course, are in the ground. So,
Mm.
now picture this, folks. If you have this bush or flower and it's growing real nice and it's full and it's pretty. That means it's progress and everything is lovely. Everything is coming along as it is in life. We are moving right along. Everything is smooth, no hiccups, no nothing. Everything is great. It's growing, it's blossoming. We happy. Then all of a sudden, here comes a thorn in your side. Here comes a bad part of the bush that's rotting. Not the whole bush, just part of it. So you say to yourself, okay, now this flower or this bush can flourish, but it needs nourishing. It needs some attention. We can't always get it right when we have the attention on the flower or the bush. So because I'm saying it's thorns and thistles in your side, just picture yourself laying on like an animal, like a cat or a dog. Most of the time, it's cats that get into these bushes and in your flower pots. That's where
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with this. And they get in there and they disrupt. They just keep moving everything around and all of this and trying to get comfortable in the bush. Well, it's thorns and thistles in that bush, and you can't get comfortable. We as people, we get in our comfort zone and we face these challenges that come up in life. We all comfortable. We riding along in our Lexus or our Cadillac, and all of a sudden something happens, a tire blow or something. So we get bent out of shape. We get uncomfortable. So we are walking along and trying to make it right in this bush, in this scenario. You land one way and that's not right. In the bush, you land that way and you're trying all these different things, but you're not trying the one thing that will make a difference. And we're talking about real life. The one thing that's needed is what? Prayer. And talking about prayer, we're talking human beings now. We're not talking about the bushes. We're comparing a human being with a bush. You're comfortable with this person. This is another metaphor. You're comfortable with this person. You've got a relationship going. Everything is lovely. And all of a sudden something happens and then it gets blown out of proportion. You're no longer comfortable. You really want to stay with this person, but it's not working out. Going back to the bush, you really want to keep this bush. You really want to keep this flower in this pot, but you have to nourish it. Same thing with a relationship. You have to nourish it. You just can't let it lay and say, oh, well, it'll work itself out. No, it's not going to always happen. And most of the time, it does not happen that way. So what I'm saying to you, I'm hoping I'm making sense. I'm trying to connect the dots here with a flower pot, a bush, and then you have the human relationship. Are you
So
with me?
so with that bush in mind and moving around in that bush, you got those emotions where you're getting stuck.
Right,
The rose thorns are sticking in you,
right,
and you may be a Harvard scholar in relationship matters. You could be a expert in a certain area, but when them thorns stick in you,
right,
and they will throw you off of your game. So
right,
how do you propose? And you know, you of course, you know, we got a chance of a choice of responding or reacting in situations when those thorns hit us. And we don't always respond like we normally do,
right,
as if we were speaking to someone else. We know what to do a lot of times when we can see in somebody else's life and we
right.
wonder why they're not doing it. But how do you deal with those thorns that stick in you and the other person doesn't really know? They know you're hurting, they're hurting too, but they don't know exactly how much you're hurting and those thorns are influencing your actions.
Well, two things. You have an option. As it is in life, we have choices.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on, number one, how well you want to keep that bush or that flower pot or that relationship. You can get rid of it and start all over fresh, or you can snip off the rough edges that's sticking in you. Get rid of all of those rough edges and smooth it out. You can't smooth it out by yourself now. Remember, we're talking doing things with the help of the Lord. So, first of all, you need to go to Him and say, okay, Lord, I need to smooth this out. I really want this to work out, but it's just not working. I don't know what else to do. My back is against the wall. I really want to keep this flower or this bush. I really want to keep this person in my life, but it's just not working out. Help me to understand what I need to do. Once you get an answer and it's clear to you what it is, in a bush situation, you're going to trim it like you do hedges. You trim off all those rough edges, smooth it out, smooth it out. With a relationship, you get rid of all of those, whatever it is that's causing everything to be uneven and disgruntled and whatever issue that happened to flared everything up. Smooth all of that out. But it takes two to do that in a relationship. With a bush, it takes two because you got the bush and then you got yourself that you're going to trim it with. Same thing with a flower. Cut off those dead edges. Cut off those dead leaves. Get rid of all of it. And then some new growth will come. The same thing with a bush. The same thing with a relationship. You have to nourish it. And the more you nourish it together, it takes more than one person. One might need some more soil in the pot. In the situation with the relationship, one might need to water it. And the other one might need to just kind of fix up the soil a little bit so the roots and things can go down deeper and deeper. And the deeper the roots, the more beautiful the outcome. But you can't just leave it laying. That's the worst thing to do.
So this is some powerful stuff, ladies and gentlemen. This is a real talk here because I'm getting my money's worth. From what I'm hearing you say, look for the beauty. Look towards the new growth that can come when you cut things off.
Right.
That shouldn't be there. Once you've made a decision that you want to keep the whole flower, the whole bush, if in situations like that, people are right now arguing. Right now, I know mine used to go like to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning sometime.
Right.
But they are, as we speak, going back and forth, and some of them got to go to work tomorrow. The kids are listening. Nobody can go to sleep in the house.
Right.
They're looking at this bush like we talking about this bush. Right. So if this is real talk, I want to ask you this. So you're saying look forward to the new growth. When your judgment gets clouded, how can you make such a hard decision? Even when you're asking God, you might not even be in an emotional state or feel like you're in an emotional state of mind to hear from God. So when you've lost all confidence in yourself to hear from God in prayer, and you are angry, upset, hurt about this bush, how do you look for some new growth? I mean, how do you get a commit? Okay, we're going to try this over again. Some of them are saying it just because they want to go to sleep. I know I did. I'll try to say anything. I just want to go to sleep. And that was my subconscious talking. So I'm like, yeah, I agree. Okay, I didn't bit more mean it.
Right.
So how do you deal with them thorns and that emotions when you don't feel like you can hear from God? What do you stop talking or what?
Yeah, you go to a quiet place. Go to a quiet place with no noise, no mouth going yakety yak yak. Get out, cut out the noise. Cut out the noise. Go to your quiet corner and just rest in the Lord and just you and Him. Me and you, Lord. Nothing else is interfering. Nobody crying, no babies, nothing. Nobody, no phone ringing. Turn the phone off. Nobody's bothering you. So it's just you and God, one-on-one. Now He has your attention. Just your attention. And that's what he wants anyway. Sometimes the Lord will allow stuff to continue to fester and fester and fester because he's trying to get the attention of the individuals. And some people just don't get it. So they just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Somebody is going to have to be the bigger person and say, you know what? Let's just give it a rest because I need some time. Let me just step away. We'll come back to this at another time, maybe tomorrow or a couple of days when you calm down and you've prayed. And the Lord will come to you as you have asked him to do, because now he has your full attention and nobody else is in your ear. That's what he wants. You can focus better.
You said a whole lot right there too. You said a whole lot because
Right.
I can feel it. It's probably about the anniversary of one of the arguments we used to have this time of the night.
Yeah.
You get to oh my goodness, how do you? Yeah, this has got to be a mutual thing to do that, because it is so hard when you're hot-headed, when two parties are upset with each other. It is so hard to find that place to even take a break to say, okay, let's, because I know the Bible says, God says, people say the Bible says, well, that's what God said, and that's what God says. But it's hard to find that moment where you can actually stop. It's perpetual. And to say, I'm going to go to sleep right now is to say, I'm going to go to sleep and I'm still upset with you.
Right.
And I thought we weren't supposed to do that.
Right. And that's where the Lord come in, because you've already asked him now. Lord, in your mind, in your own inner self, Lord, I need you to help me with this. I need to go somewhere and be quiet and think. Make it happen, Lord. And he will. He'll remove one of you. Sometimes you might have to leave the house.
You sure that might not be the police?
No, because you
might need to get removed. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay,
we don't want it to get to that point. No. Yeah, well, we don't want to get the police involved. You or the other person, whoever it is that's hot-headed the most, that need to get away, then that's the person that needs to step away. Now, it won't be an argument. I mean, one of you can decide whoever is going to leave. And if it can't be a decision made, then you make the decision. Because nothing is going to get, nobody's going to sleep. So it'll be daybreak in a minute. Time to get up. And you never been laid down.
I can count in my head right now, probably 100 walls just got punched by a fist.
Yeah.
I can count it. I can hear it. I can feel it. How did you come up with this subject? How did you get inspired by God to bring this today? It is so relevant. I'm shaking like Jello.
It was supposed to come up last week, so I did not want to leave. Yeah, the Lord, I prayed about things, and I asked the Lord to give me subjects to talk about. And as you begin to talk, it's very relevant to the bushes and the thorns and the thistles that's in our sides. And it's always, it don't always have to be a relationship between two grown-ups. It can be a relationship with anybody. Unfortunately, some of us have our children that give us the same confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, because some of the children ain't home yet.
Right.
And they sitting there waiting for them in the living room.
Right.
So they just sitting there waiting,
right.
blowing like a bull when they come in the house.
Right. So in that situation, of course, you would approach it a little bit differently. But getting back to the bushes and all, yeah, that right there, you can easily cut down a bush. You can cut down a bush and replace a flower or replant it or whatever easier than you can a person. I don't think, I might be wrong, but I don't think there's a person out there that would have feelings for a human being with a flower or a bush like they would have with a person. You know what I mean? We like gardening and all of that, but
hold on, I think we got a caller coming in. Let's see if we can pick this up. Caller, you are live on the air. This is Let's Talk Real Life with Nada Manning. Do you have a comment? Hello? Hey, how are you? You're live on the air.
I am?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I don't know what, I love to hear Nada Manning talk, but I don't know what the subject is today. And so I guess I'll just ask a question about, she's so good with just life. Life during this pandemic. Um, it seems to me that God is trying to talk to us, and we're not listening. Um, I just like to hear her comment on that. If she believes that God has something to say to us, and we're just missing his point. And it seems that since we're not getting it, we've had this COVID-19, but then we've had the Delta, and now we have the Omicron, and it's getting deeper and deeper. What is it going to take for us to stop and listen and take God seriously? So that's my discussion. I would like to hear her viewpoints on that.
Okay. Well, good evening. First of all, good evening, and you are live on the air. I am your host, Nada Manning, and I, believe it or not, that was part of my discussion as we go into the lesson. Well, not a lesson, but the talk. And
Sure.
I was going to bring up COVID, where I was going to bring, because we have 3 topics that we were going to talk about. And those topics were pertaining to and including COVID. It was somewhat of a struggle for some of us to make it through. And being that I'm jumping ahead, I had my things in order to talk about. Okay, here we go. The 3 questions was, we question who God is, a matter of faith, not sight, and where is he in the situation. So in the situation, I was going to bring up COVID. So if we can jump towards that now, it's not a problem. I can jump ahead on that discussion. Where is he in the situation? The situation that I was going to talk about was COVID. And during that discussion, I was going to bring up a couple of things like where we are right now, the latest occurrences with COVID.
She wanted to know, are we listening? Is God sending a message through COVID that we're not hearing?
Right, exactly. Some of us are looking at the situation today from the wrong side. We're looking at it from the wrong side. Some of us, it's 2 or 3 sides to this, I guess one can say. So I say some of us are looking at it from the wrong side, because someday we will see from another standpoint, and we will understand when we begin to see God in it. We can say because of that, we can rejoice. He is still trying to get our attention to turn to him. The latest occurrences I was going to bring up was schools back to wearing masks again. The food chains are now being affected because there's very little food on the shelves. So where is he in the situation? The yoke, he says, for the yoke I'll give you is easy, and the load I will put on you is light. COVID-19, first year was rough. We didn't know ahead. This year is better because we now have a better idea of what to expect. And that's why I say some of us are looking at the situation today from the wrong side. The wrong side being, let's take, for example, a rug or some type of embroidery. You have, where it's embroidered, you have the rough, stringy side. Same thing with the rug. You have the rough side of a rug, R-U-G, and you have the smooth, pretty side. Now, you can look at the rough side because why? That's the side where you're going to have a better result when you look on, at the end of the day, that rough side will become very smooth and beautiful if we stand on his word. Why aren't we getting it? I think there's 100 million ways that it can be put out there. Not that it has not been put out there already, but it's like anything. Some people will get it and other people won't. People are passing away, as we all know, all over the world, but there are some people that are just not getting it. So, caller, I hope that I'm trying to touch I hope I'm answering a little bit of your question. And that is by us looking at it on the wrong side is causing us to stay on that wrong side too long. And we're on that wrong, rough side. Never mind what's on the good, smooth side, because we so hung up on the wrong side, we're not looking at the end product. The end product here is God is trying to get our attention. He wants our attention, and he's going to get our attention one way or the other, sooner or later. So it would be in our best interest to look at the rough side of that rug or that embroidery, all the knitting and the strings that's hanging on the bad side, because on the flip side of that, at the end of the day, it's going to be beautiful if we just hold out, if we just follow the rules. When you're embroidering anything, it's going back to the flower in the bush. When you're planting those flowers, there's a way to do it. It's not going to pop up overnight. This COVID is not going away overnight. It may seem to us like it popped up overnight because one day we were great, the next day we weren't. So all of a sudden, here it is. So what are we going to do? We're going to continue to encourage others to look at the whole picture, not just the fact that we don't have enough food on the shelves or the fact that we can get sick. The whole picture is God is trying to tell us something. That's why it went away for a little while. A few months ago, it was, getting better and better and better. Now we got stepped back. Now we're starting all over again, seem like. Why? Because some people out there did not pay attention to what is being shown to them. The writing is on the wall. It shows on TV every day, the statistics, the numbers, and the responses that people have, emotional that's tied up into this thing, people losing their loved ones. And I say, my own personal thought is, those that don't seem to get it is because they have not been affected by it yet. That's why. And since they have not been affected, they just willy-nilly in it, just saying, oh, well, it's just like, oh, well, it didn't. I didn't think that was going to happen in my neighborhood. We hear that all the time. I didn't think it was going to happen in this block. Well, stuff happens everywhere. But they just became and continue to be oblivious to the whole idea.
Caller, are you feeling the response? You have any follow-up questions?
No, I agree with everything she's saying. It is true. There are still some who don't believe that this is a pandemic. I mean, this is not just happening in the United States. This is happening all over the world. And how they can still say it's a hoax or it's not true, it's just incredulous to me. But I agree with everything she's saying. I don't know what it's going to take for God to get our attention, but I guess it was that way with Noah. Noah was trying to tell them, and they didn't believe until the rain started dropping. And so I don't know. But thank you so much, Nada Manning. I appreciate what you said, and I agree. I just don't know. But as you said, God will get our attention one way or the other. Thank you so much.
And you're welcome, ma'am. And also keeping in mind, going back to the scriptures, not quoting anything in particular, but there were more than one time when the people did not cooperate with what was going on. And they ended up going south, so to speak, because they wouldn't listen. They were hard-hearted. And that's the way some of us are today. We just don't, for whatever reason, we just don't believe. And we can just, all we can do right now, we just have to keep praying for them.
Yeah.
And be mindful of the land, the laws of the land, and wearing the mask and all of that, and keeping our distance. And that's critical. Even after you had vaccines and all of that, you still have to do all of that to protect yourself and your loved ones. So anyway, I appreciate it. You're welcome. I appreciate you calling in. God bless you. And we can move on now to the next subject.
Can we go back to where we were earlier? Because I got a couple more questions for you. I'm sorry.
No problem.
All right. So we got everybody, and you got me to the part where you're saying cut things off. You make a decision, and then when it's really getting heated up and the thorns are punching in you, You're all emotional. You got to step back somehow. You got to call some type of truce, stop the fighting. Okay. Now looking forward to the new growth. Man, you wake up the next morning, you know you had a terrible night, or another issue is coming and you know it. It's imminent. That the person is doing something or you're doing something to agitate the person, and you guys aren't in a good place. All right. Getting help as a if it's a relationship, getting help as a couple or getting help as a family, or do you just keep trying to talk it out? You both got in good intentions to save the bush. Where and how do you get into that renovation, that reconstruction? Because some people, might need. I ain't trying to make this entertaining. Some of us might need demons cast out of us. Seriously, what little bit I understand about that. Some of us might need severe repentance. Um, so I'm not going to let you go lightly past this subject without saying how do you cross that bridge now to reunification with someone or a renewal portal that you go through, getting pastoral counseling, or you want to say the bush, so finish the bush because we got to get that.
Okay. One other thing that I have learned to do more on I guess you can say it's personal level. Um, um, there's an option where I have done this, where each one of us would write down the likes and dislikes of the other.
Whew.
Okay. You have your list of what you like or dislike about that person, and they have their list. Now, this is being civil.
Yeah.
There's no reason why the other person should not want to do this.
Uh-huh.
If they want to do this, which I'd like to think they would, when your list is finished, ever how long that list is, 2-3 pages or half a page or whatever, you sit down and you look at those things. This is if you want the relationship to work.
Yes. I'm not trying to be funny. I swear I'm not. You are hitting this. You are killing this. I did that one time and I said, let's go to the beach and we're going to talk about the things that you don't like about me or blah, blah, blah. And so she's got there's no point to me telling the story other than it just happened. Okay.
Right.
She got her list. I got my list. Man, I think we ruined the whole beach trip.
Oh, so you did not find it beneficial?
I think there was a neutral outcome that came out of it. Okay, now, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna stop joking, but I think it was, the exposure was great. The issues that came out were things that I didn't know, and she presented, and I presented. But so that was the bottom line. You will learn something about yourself. That's what I got out of it. Now, how I reacted, was not so good on some of the things because I didn't agree with, but you gotta mature past that and say that's what that other person feels or that's what they think. Right. And it could be true and it could not be, but that's
right.
They can choose to weaponize it. So I'm gonna stop rambling, but I just wanted to say I did just what you're saying. And I don't know all the benefits, but anyways, continue.
Well, one of the benefits was the fact that you learned something about each other.
Yeah.
That you didn't know.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, depending on how much you want the relationship to work, is the results of the findings. Once you balanced out everything was mentioned and this and that and the other, and you finished with the list and talked about it, and at the end of that, that would either make the relationship better or keep it the same or make it worse. But if it's already bad, how much worse can it get?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did a worse thing because I remember, I'm going to say this publicly. I didn't think it was a big deal, but I made a confession about something. And no, it won't, the worst type of confession. But it wasn't so good. Right. But it did reach the level that I confessed that I did something or said something that I shouldn't have done.
Right.
Okay. And it was enough to be bad. It wasn't adultery or anything like that, but it was enough to be just as bad.
Right.
And I felt so like, man, I thought this was gonna come out right. And we came way down here. And I wanted to be in a safe environment. And my point is that, and if I can coach a little bit, if you're doing what Miss Nada is saying, Miss Manning is saying, create a safe environment. And I seen a meme one time on Facebook where the guy was sitting down talking to the girl, and the girl says, "Sure, you can tell me anything. You know I love you. Anything you want." And the guy's like, "Yeah, anything, anything." And she opened him up, and then he said something about I think he said something about he slept with one of her friends, or he said something because this was a skit. And boy, did she break down and beat him upside the head with a chair.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, be prepared for what you might hear from this list that Miss Manning is talking about. And no, you can't be tearing up nobody's motel, and you shouldn't be tearing up your house, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna let her get back in. I was just adding color to what she was saying because it is so right, y'all. All right, we sitting down, we got a list, and okay.
So yeah, once we get past the list and things are not going well, then a mature couple, if it's not working out, then you part ways. As simple as that.
Oh.
Just part ways. You can't resolve the problem. The Lord does not want us to be unhappy. He wants us to live a peaceful life. I guess a courtship is a little bit different than a marriage. A marriage you would try, I guess, a little bit harder than you would if you were just dating someone, because you want the marriage to work. You do all you can to make it work. But if you've tried everything, like I said, still, at the end of the day, you go to your quiet space and you talk and you pray and see what the Lord tells you to do. Because now it's gotten too big for you and you can't handle it on your own. You tried this and you tried that and it just didn't work. Okay, Lord, I've tried now. We can't continue to live like this and I need your help. And then wait on him. That's all you can do.
Wow, that's deep.
So I hope that some of these things that I have said to you, sir, have been meaningful, and the listeners particularly, because I'm rest assured there are some people out there that's going through, like you said earlier, they're going through and they don't know what to do. They're about to throw themselves up against a wall somewhere because it's just crazy.
And you know what you just said, though? Did you realize what you just said? You took us all the way to the point, and then you said, "Wait on the Lord." Do you know that I translated that into meaning "shut up"? That's the way I caught that. Now I don't know how the listeners caught that, but once you said the issue we got about 11 minutes left in the show, but you said the issues are too big for you.
Right.
That's what I heard you say.
Yeah.
And I certainly felt that way, overwhelmed. And you said, okay, now you got to give it to the Lord. Let the Lord handle it. And that's literally means shut up and stop trying to manipulate
and fix
right. And twist around and battle and fight and retaliate.
And be
because
miserable.
You said you forgave and you didn't, or you forgave and it's a reoccurring situation that's so painful. But she just literally just said, be quiet and let the Lord deal with it. So now how are you going to do that? Not talk to the person? I did that, but that's a weapon there. If I don't talk, oh my God.
Well, again, you want to bring him in it from the very beginning anyway, him meaning the Lord.
True.
You want to keep him in it anyway, even while you're still fussing back and forth. Lord, help me with this. Keep him engaged. That's the thing. Because now he's listening to you as you're calling on him, and he wants you to do that. This person really needs my help, the Lord is saying. They really need my help. They keep on asking me. They really need let me do something. And there you go. He does something. Whatever that is, it's in your favor. It's the best way for the resolution to come to pass when the Lord does it. Because when it happens, you probably be in awe yourself. Well, man, where did that come from? I didn't say that. Did I say that? Yeah.
So now we have to master that area where we can be angry and sin not, or
Right.
if you're outraging. How you gonna sit down? Let's pray. Now I bet you $1 billion there's more people that do that than I think. Look, honey, we gonna cut this out. Let's sit down and pray about this. Okay, you hold yours, I'm gonna hold mine, and we're gonna sit down and pray. I just ain't seen it.
And
Nobody has told me in a group setting at church or anywhere that we were arguing so bad the other night, and our relationship was on the line, and we stopped and we decided to pray. Now I heard people say they pray, of course. That's what you led the topic up with. But to pray in the heat,
that praying in the heat will calm it down. And you praying to yourself. You ain't got to be doing it all loud and just saying it to yourself. Don't nobody need to know but the Lord that you talking to him. Especially if that other person has all been out of shape. And that person might not want to pray anyway because they so mad they pray. I don't want to pray with you.
see, I seen that.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we hot. And
Uh-huh.
you got the nerve to ask me to pray? Are you kidding me? I don't want to pray with you. I'm mad with you right now. That's the last thing I want to do. That's them talking out of anger. But the bottom line is that's just what needs to be done is prayer to calm the whole situation down and be civil. Let's think about this thing. And the Lord is the only way, that's the only way it can be done many times because the people involved, they so heated up and been out of shape, they're not going to get it right. So the Lord said, you know what? I'm going to shut both of y'all up. How about that?
Uh-oh.
He gets our attention one way or the other. So we have to be mindful to go into a situation, prayed up to start with, even if there's nothing happening. You want to pray and acknowledge him anyway, right then, right on through it, the whole process. You have how many years, 20 years, 25, 30, 50 years, keep him engaged the whole time. It works. It makes a difference. Because he's there, he's in control of all of it. He's in control of us. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it here live. I'm just happy and delighted to be able to tag along with Miss Nada Manning at the Late Night Talk Show because we got a smooth evening, no breaks in the show. And we're glad to have the viewers that are viewing us now. Thank you for staying throughout the show. And I tell you, I believe you heard some things this evening because I learned something. And I learned that, I had an angle of pursuit that was right and just at times. And listening to Ms. Nada, I had an angle of pursuit that was wrong at times because I don't recall ever taking a break and saying, let's pray. I will have to try that, but see, that's when the anger, somebody just gave us a little heart on the thing. So it's like, cool. Somebody thinks that what's happening between us right now is real. All I can say is, what, we got 6 minutes. Are you going to share? I'm going to stop talking in just a moment, but I want to say, listening to this show, ladies and gentlemen, Real Talk with Miss Nada is some invaluable information and life's experiences, and we want you to share. Now, I'm gonna come at her with one more question about the relationship in this bush that she described that we want to keep. And there's a great analogy because these bushes that we can be so beautiful, but we can have thorns on us. Yeah. Thorns on us. And how do we nip and cut to be collaborative and join and live a happy life with our partners? So here's my question to you, Miss Nada. When it comes to the word love, what has love got to do with it? the love of God is more important, or is the love of that person between you and that? Now, this probably could be a 3-hour show, okay? But what has love got to do with it? Unconditional love, conditional love, when you're hurt, when you're not hurt, or should the love of God towards you and what he does and care about you make more difference than the love between you and that other person, or the absence of it?
Well, first of all, we know, all of us should know, that we are always being observed and monitored and watched by the Lord. Many times he put stuff in our path just to see what we do with it. Now, we have a relationship, whether it be husband and wife, whether it be brothers and sisters, whether it be parents and child, the love is there. And many times when that love gets interrupted, for whatever reason, lack of trust, somebody said something, did something, whatever happened, love has everything to do with it, because that love for the person, the love for God, number one, is for you to love that person. The Lord loves us unconditionally. We love others conditionally. I love you if you do thus and so. If you don't do this, then I don't love you like that. That's what we do as humans. But the Lord wants us to look at it from a different perspective. He says to love that other person in spite of. Now, there are different ways of loving a person. Some people makes it very, very difficult to love them.
Amen. Come on now.
Okay? They make it very hard.
And I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Proceed.
And if they continue, I can see it happening once, maybe twice, maybe, depending on what it is. But if they continue to show you that they are going to do what they do without the presence of any love, we talking any two people, then you would want to love them from a distance. Love still has everything to do with it, because we know that it's not the person, it's what they're doing that's causing us not to love them. In reality, it's not the person, it's the actions that they're taking. It's what they're doing or what they're saying that we don't like. Now, when we love them enough, we want to talk to them about it. We want to bring, because a lot of times we don't see ourselves the way other people see us.
Amen.
Okay. So we don't see that we're hurting this person. So, okay, well, let me bring it to your attention. Let me tell you, thus and so, A, B, C, or D. This is not working out like this. We need to do something. We're talking live stuff, folks. We're live on the air. We're coming down to the last couple of minutes of the hour.
Yep.
And I just want you all to know, before I go, we do want to pray. And I also want you to please do that survey, because we want to have some more ideas from you all. Tell us what you are thinking about tonight's show. This was different tonight. Tell us, send me a message in the messenger and let me know what you think, what you want me to talk about next, how you want me to handle it. Give me some real life scenarios. You don't have to give me your name. It's all right. Just give me the situation. So, Father God, I want to thank you for this time. We just give you the praise. Everything went very, very well. We talked about real life stuff with these bushes and thorns and thistles, Lord, and we all are uncomfortable round about now with this COVID going on. Right now, that's a bush for everybody. And we want you, Lord, to intervene and show us what we're supposed to be doing. And those of us who are doing what you want us to do, help us to show others what they should be doing by the life we live and the way we behave and the way we carry ourselves, because that's what's critical. We love you, Lord, and we give you praise. Don't forget to send in the messenger message, folks. I'd love to hear from you. To God be the glory. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be on. Yes, I thank you for allowing me to be on the show with you. I'd like to tag along a little while, to be the agitator. I love it when I can take the back seat and hear some great knowledge and experience. Ladies and gentlemen, Thank you for joining us tonight. This has been a great episode of Let's Talk Real Life with Nada Manning, WBIS LP 106.9. Now you can meet us back here next week, same time. Love you guys.
Good night.
How simple are the single-celled protozoans created by...
Are we off the radio? Are we off the radio?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes. I said, are we off the radio? We off everything now?
We're still on Facebook.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, we're still on Facebook right now. I just wanted to say on Facebook that because we still got the viewers there that still are watching.
Okay.
I wanted to say it was extraordinarily great and it is so real, the things you're talking about. So I like this part. I'll give you the results of my survey. I like the life part. You're not presenting yourself as some certified counselor or, I like real people. And this is a real life situations. I think there's a great room for other people to fit in and bring their real life situations on this platform. And I just wanted to say, great show. I like bringing out the best. So there was some stuff in there that came out. Yeah.
But it was my pleasure.
All right. Well, I'm going to end the broadcast. We can continue to chat for a moment. I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you, Facebook, for joining us. This is Coach Garrison and Miss Nada. As you can see, we'll look forward to seeing you guys. And like and share. Like and share this, if you would, to your friends and family so we can get the feedback on the things that she is actually working on. And anybody that want to be up this time of the morning to love on you really loves you. Okay. Miss Jack, thank you for the comment. That was the heart. You see, I placed it up there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You guys, some of us got to get some rest. And if y'all been up in and arguing and stuff, cut it out. Cut it out.
Yep. Just let it go.
Let it go and let the Lord, get in there. And that means, in other words, shut up. Both of you. All right. I'm going to end the Facebook broadcast.
All right.